Yes, we're talking to college conservatives and asking them what life is like on college, and hopefully trying to give you a little bit of fire in the belly for standing up for what you believe. Claire?
Well, I guess the thing that we're told that only thing we can control in college is our grades, and that's why we're scared, is because that's the only thing we think that we have control of. We don't have control
Do you believe that to be true?
I mean, increasing tuition every year.
Yeah, why is tuition increasing?
I don't know, 6% this year, so.
Yeah, it's interesting that professors that colleges are increasing faster than healthcare in the last 10 years, and yet no one says a word about that. Yes?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound heartless, but right now the government's pushing a program where everyone should be going to college, where over 60% of high school graduates are going into a 4-year program that might not be best for them. And that's really, the demand is rising so quickly that everyone's getting squeezed completely.
Yeah, you don't have to go to college. You don't have to go to college.
Yeah, exactly, you, sir.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I was a dummy for a long time. But you don't have to go to college. Self-made men. You know what George Washington's really only self-esteem problem came from? He didn't go to college. And he felt, here he was, this admired man. He felt he wasn't up to it because he hadn't been anointed by the smart ones. Please, challenge everything. And let me tell you something. The only thing you can control, is what you choose to do. You can't control the outcomes. You can't control the grades. You can't control everybody else. Nothing. But you can control I know because I've done it. I mean, you should see my library. It is the absolute library of a serial killer because I have everything in it. And when I couldn't afford to go to college, I decided to do it myself. And I went into the bookstore and the libraries, and I pulled the people that I thought would argue. If this guy were alive and this guy were alive, man, I'd like to listen to them. I got Mein Kampf and Alan Dershowitz. Okay? I got Nostradamus and Pope John Paul. Have at it. That's the way you learn. You can do it yourself. Have self-confidence. Forget about the grade. Learn. Who cares if you walk out with a 4.0 but no knowledge? Get the knowledge. SC and I have been talking about this for a while.
The good news is conservatism on college campuses is what counts as rebellion these days. And you've heard these stories of these kids who are going out and they're emboldened to become activists. That's the good news. And I don't have to tell you, we're prepared to help them. And in the fall, I don't want to say too much.
I don't know what you're saying.
We don't want to say too much, but
Yeah.
over the summer, students should subscribe to the newsletter, keep in touch with us.
It's free.
Because come fall, you are going to have tools at your disposal that you have not had. And I've been there. I've been in college campuses. I went to a bunch of colleges. You're going to have the tools that you need. You will not be alone anymore.
You guys familiar with the 912 Project? Okay. I'm not doing a 912 project for colleges, but I am leaving Fox because if we lose your generation, we lose. And I have to concentrate on your generation. So I'm asking you, if you're in college now, you stay in touch with as many people as you can, and then you tell us what you need, because we're working on some things, so when you come back at the fall, we're just going to smoke them out. Uh-oh, that sounded like George W. Bush. Smoke them out. Smoke them out. Aaron.
We were talking about taking action. I'm a columnist for the Rutgers daily newspaper, the Daily Targum, and I write about usually pro-Israel and conservative issues. And I've been threatened to be sued. I have been petitioned by the outreach coordinator of the Middle Eastern Studies Department to be kicked out of my job. And I've been physically threatened by the same woman coming up to me out of a meeting, pounding her chest,
Yeah.
and saying that she's Palestinian and I'm going to have to get through her before I can
Good.
get to the
You know
bottom
the
of
first
it.
death threat I ever had? First death threat I ever had, and I get a lot of them. I spend over $1 million a year in personal security. That comes out of my pocket for death threats. First one I had was a Palestinian that called me up and said, "You have got to shut up." This is right after September 11th. "Because we are a peace-loving people, and if you don't shut up, I will behead you myself!" And I was like, okay, I don't think you should pipe down. You're not helping the cause.
I had the
Wear that with a badge of honor.
Rutgers earlier in the year originally had a student fee-sponsored program that was going to send a flotilla to Gaza. And luckily, the State Department said that that's illegal. You can't do that. And I was, again, physically threatened by students. You know, these people the people who say that they're full of peace and they're the ones that want to, you know, bring peace to the world are the same people who are telling me that they want to bash my face in with a crowbar.
Listen, I know this. I know this. And it's people on both sides, not usually, but there are people on both sides, and you must never, ever become them, because you'll get angry. And you must never, ever become them. But get used to it, because it's only going to get worse, especially on Israel issues. It's only going to get worse. Stand fast and learn courage. Back in a second. Good for you. We're with college students who have had enough on campus. Eric.
So I actually had the honor to get involved with your 9/12 project over the summer. And I attend these wonderful people's meetings. They talk about contemporary politics. And when I went back to my university and shared my experiences with my friends, and they thought it was a horrible idea that I actually got involved with the Tea Party and talked with these people. And they think that everybody are racist, all the Tea Party people. But as a minority myself, they invited me to their Christmas parties. They are very welcome people. These are amazing people. And in university, professors tell you that you should get to know people before you judge them. But I think what happened right here is exactly the opposite. They didn't get to know these Tea Party people.
Which tells you what, Eric?
I don't
Draw
think
a conclusion. What does that mean?
These people are hypocrites.
Hypocrites, or they have an agenda. They have an agenda, or they're just hypocrites. And I would suggest to you that they have an agenda, because if you look at all of the other breadcrumbs, you see they are not open to the ideas of the Tea Party or the 9/12 Project. Kirby.
I think all of us have had the experience of expressing unpopular ideas in the classroom and coming up with disagreement. And that can be frustrating, but I think, you know, the leftist bias is somewhat expected by all of us in academia. But when it gets to the point where the bias is institutionalized in the administration and you're denied even the opportunity to express those ideas, that's a serious, serious problem, regardless of what that bias is. You should never be denied your free speech on a college campus. It's supposed to be, you know, the marketplace of ideas.
Tenure.
And we've had 2 separate events on our campus shut down for very, you know, silly reasons, that flaws in paperwork that they made up and put us through, you know, going through hoops to try to reschedule, and ultimately denied. So I think a major problem is if you can't even have that opportunity to express what you want to say.
SC goes to colleges. I don't go to colleges. I won't speak at colleges. NYU has asked me over and over and over and over and over again to speak. No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste my time, because that's what will happen. You will waste my time. You do it all the time.
I do it through groups like the Claire Bouffouz Policy Institute and YAF and groups that work really hard to bring conservative speakers to colleges where this kind of thing happens all the time. All the time.
Do you know what purified by fire means? What?
Is it the organization that,
No. What the term purified by fire means. When you take gold and you put it into a fire, you burn out its imperfections. So now it's pure gold, right? Purified by fire. That's what's happening, you guys. They're not being purified by fire. They are so incredibly intellectually weak. In the end, who wins? You do, because you're being purified by fire. Emily.
Well, this past spring, I had the audacity to bring a conservative woman to speak on feminism. And for that, one of my professors targeted me because I wouldn't bend to his political beliefs. When it came time for my final exams, I made a huge mistake. I showed up at the wrong time. And I'm a conservative, I take responsibility for my mistake, but my teacher made up reasons as to why I wasn't allowed to take my exam. He said that I didn't deserve to take my exam because I was a troublemaker, and because I was a bad student, although I've been on the dean's list every semester.
Good. You guys change your perspective here. Good. Wear it as a badge of honor. Good. I'm a troublemaker. Good. Rise up and do it peacefully. Rise up. Good. Wear it as a badge of honor. Back in a second. Natalie, you were at University of Iowa.
Yep.
And the professor said,
she responded to our campus-wide email that we got approved about Conservative Coming Out Week with literally F you Republicans. Then her credentials at the bottom.
you filed a complaint?
Yes.
What happened?
Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she still makes her $94,800 salary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Bother you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when a professor uses that as her civil discourse when she's supposed to teach students.
It shows what a mental midget she is.
Yeah.
Don't let it bother you. It's a mental midget.
Yeah.
Mental midget. Really.
It really is.
Seriously. It's like, whoa. I think I heard that argument in the 8th grade. Gina, you go to Columbia.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I just feel like as challenging and disheartening as it sometimes may be to be a conservative and voice conservative views on a liberal campus, it's absolutely critical for young Republicans, young conservatives to be doing this, not only to further develop their arguments and confirm what they already believe, but to make our voice heard on these very liberal campuses.
Let me tell you guys something. How many read the Federalist Papers? Good for you. I made a challenge last year. I said somebody needs to rewrite them. A college student did, a law student. He rewrote them. I'm publishing them in about 2 months. And it is the thing that every single one of you should read and memorize and be able to, don't argue back and forth about Republican and Democrat. Talk about the values and the principles of freedom and the founding of this country. And again, wear your strife as a badge of honor. It's only making you more strong. You guys are going to boot camp. They're going to coffee shops. Who wins in the... I tell you, life is tough, and then you die. But life is worth every second that you live. You guys are living. You win in the end. Mental midget. You win in the end. Back in just a second. These guys are amazing. This is our future. And they're getting stronger and stronger and stronger through the abuse because it pushes them to the wall. Revel in that. Thomas Jefferson will be a rebel again, not the mainstream. Good. That's where he's always belonged. From New York, good night, America.